COVID-19 is a bummer, but for many of us, it is also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get closer to each other while being far away. That's a slogan, I know, but and I'm not too fond of slogans because then you lose sight of the actual things that are important. But anyway, we are using the electronic media in amazing ways to stay in touch with each other, to keep each other informed, and that's amazing. So for many of us, we are getting through this by doing those things. There are some people still who are not doing so well. Those are the people who are really experiencing this totally as a bummer. There are people that are hiding out. They're not staying in their house to protect themselves. They're just hiding out, trying to keep away from the world. And that probably includes all those good things that we're doing that those people are staying away from. People that are hoarding are doing things on a time scale as if they had to hold out for months or a year, whatever, like the old days with bomb shelters. But there are also other people who are having a hard time with it, people who are young and really have never experienced being alone, being reduced in how many people they can stay in contact with. A friend told me that she was at a party, and this was before COVID-19 became an issue, at a party, but she figured most people seem to be doing texting anyway, so you can do that from afar as much as you can when you're at a party. But there was more going on. There was a party going on, so it's nice to do your texting even though you're texting, but it's good to do it when there are other people around. But there are young people who, for whatever reason, I think I read somebody, because of the social isolation, the social distancing, having to be away from their friends, physically away from their friends, that was too much for them and they killed themselves. So that's not good. There are other people who are turning to alcohol, turning to hard drugs, whatever, in order to numb themselves to the reality of, one, we have something scary going on, and two, they are alone. And I have a little theory about those people in general, people who are kind of living in what could be considered a really, even though it might not seem that way, they're working in a self-preservation mode, which is the famous flight, fight, freeze, flight, or fight mode. I think it's usually freeze, fight, or flight, but those three things. People will either, and it's not just people, animals in general will, when faced with a great threat, will pause and then choose one of those three options as a means to try and preserve themselves. But I believe there are people right now who are stuck in that same mode. So they're either freezing, which is like the people that are going numb with alcohol, and there are people who are in flight, who are running away from their own homes, trying to find a place safe from COVID-19, which there really is no place where it has not been a presence. And there are people who might fight. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that doesn't become a large number of people, but the closest example I can think of is somebody who had early hoarded a bunch of toilet paper and was getting death threats from people for having done that, and who subsequently donated his supply to some organization. So all three of those things, which are, as I said, self-preservation, means of self-preservation. But I have a theory, and I placed a little bit detailed essay in my Facebook page, which you can access by just searching for Jeffrey Allen Cassell in Facebook. But that's a theory that says that self-preservation, even though a lot of evolutionary theory kind of points to that as the main thing going on with our survival. Everything is geared towards self-preservation. Well, I have a theory, and I give evidence, and I give the logic of it, that on that Facebook page, that the evolution is really about the population. It's not about the individual. And population meaning everyone around you. There's in that essay, there's describing it, a lower limit and an upper limit for a population. But basically, we have genes that are geared toward saving the populations, working together. All the things we do, altruism and heroism and just caring about other people, and all the things that are in so evidence right now because of COVID-19, all those things are geared toward the survival of the population. So that self-preservation thing is normally a momentary thing when you are faced with a great threat and need to right then and there find a course to take in order to avoid being injured or killed. It's pretty primitive, but I think maybe slightly less primitive, but still in our genes is that need to preserve the larger population. Actually, it's probably just as primitive. We just don't think in terms of that normally. So I think there are people who are stuck in that freeze, fight, or flight mode. And I believe that many of them, when this is not their normal everyday behavior, many of them who are that way right now because of the current situation, I believe those people really only need to be awakened from that state by other people who are reminding them that they are part of a larger population and that we are looking out after each other and that we are trying to keep all of us going. And I suspect there are people who will respond to that. And if you know anybody in that state and you're concerned about someone in that state, I think just, it's almost a normal reaction is to care for them, but put it in terms of we are all in this together and we are all going to get through it, or as many of us as possible are going to get through it together. And I think that will help. Just kind of just a wake up call. So that's my idea on that. Thank you.